Hello, marhaba. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast by Chalhoub Group. Today, as all topics and always, is a topic that I love so dearly, but I'm extra biased today about it. But in fact, it's a topic that's a little bit scary, a lot inspiring and motivating at the same time. We're talking about sustainability. And at Chalhoub Group, as we embed it at the core of our business more and more, we're really very proud to have taken leaps and big steps towards our net zero commitments. At the same time, the UN has really warned that to prevent a climate catastrophe, humanity, not only companies, not only governments, humanity has to take actions, small and big actions towards that. So we're not limiting today's podcast only to share with you our actions from a group perspective. We also are very proud to host with us our guest, Ibrahim Al-Zu'bi, who is the Chair Global Council of SDG13, which is the Climate Action SDG, which you will tell us all about it. We're very proud that finally our calendars met and we have you with us in person in the studio with your busy calendar. So thank you very much for making it. And of course, our star Chief Sustainability Officer, Florence Bulte, who is also behind all the work and actions and strategies that we put at the group to tell us all about where we are today in sustainability. So I would like to start with you, Ibrahim. Just tell us a little bit more about your role. It's a big role to chair a whole SDG on your shoulders. How does that feel like? And what is your biggest, challenge maybe or dream in this role?
First of all, thanks for having me. And I'm the one who's glad that we managed to make this work out. And it's interesting listening to you to talk about sustainability, as it's interesting and scary, it's exactly it. It's the best, I think, definition I've heard for sustainability, because it's not, it's for us, it's lifestyle, but it's not something nice to do, but it's something we have to do. So starting with talking about SDGs, we have the whole world, governments of the world, United Nations, private sector, and governments. They endorsed the Sustainable Development Goals, which are covering three aspects mainly of our life, which is planet, profit, people. So from SDG 1, which is poverty, to SDG 17, which is partnerships, but it looks at how life can be sustainable, how we can develop, how we can have growth without compromising the environment and ensuring that we maximize the socioeconomic impact. My role as a chair of SDG 13, I take care of how we can reduce the impact of climate change. So it's climate action. So we know the impact of climate change, but from the word action, it's mainly of a group of private sectors, people and representatives, C-suites. We have targets for the next 3 years on coming up with solutions, acceleration of awareness, and ensuring there is a public-private partnership and the narrative, and there is a discussion between the public and private sectors. This initiative is hosted by the UAE Prime Minister's Office, and we meet actually every year in person during the World Government Summit. So my role is in climate action with my colleagues from the private sector, as well as representatives from youth, NGOs, government, is to offer practical and pragmatic solutions that will accelerate achieving our climate action targets.
We love practical solutions because in the end, any complex project, and me being a scientist at heart and by education, is to make it happen, you just have to be practical, you have to be pragmatic, and you have to break things down to step by step. And I know we're going to get much more from you on how people actually can do that in their day-to-day as well. And I mean, speaking of, planet, people, and profit, and I know, Florence, that we have come a long way at Chalhoub Group, where the family is very philanthropic. It was a big focus on philanthropy, be it cancer, refugees, and children's education. And over the past years, really creating a framework that is core of the business as well, which is for the whole group. So tell us a little bit more. I mean, very briefly, we've talked a lot about the sustainability journey of Chalhoub Group, but I think this year is different for so many reasons. Tell me more why.
Well, we started our sustainability strategy in 2014 when we became a member of the United Nations Global Compact. And you're right. I mean, we defined 3 points of focuses that now all our team members in the group knows really well. So planet, partners, and people. This year, I would say the planet pillars has really taken off. And this for a very particular reason. Since 2014, we started to build a decarbonization strategy. And we had a huge acceleration in 2021 when we decided to partner with Schneider and to calculate our 3 scopes of emission. And we used 2021 as a baseline. And from this baseline, we decided to create a roadmap to see how we can reduce our carbon emission by 2040. So that's exactly what we are doing. We are paving the way to 2040. And this roadmap has been submitted and validated this year. So what does it mean in very tangible terms? It means that by 2032, we committed to reduce our scope 1 and 2 emissions by 50%. And by 2032, we committed to reduce our scope 3, which is huge, it's 99% of our emissions, by 30%. And so this, now that we have validated our roadmap, we are going to, for the first time, disclosing it in the sustainability report. And from this year onwards, our GHG emission will be publicly available, so we have a huge accountability for it. We have a huge responsibility to make it happen.
Well, good job and good luck at the same time. I think it's a really proud moment that your science-based targets have been validated and approved. What I hear from you as well is this kind of long-term commitment. It's like now it's public. The whole world's going to know about it, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to achieve it. So within your scope of work, you talked about private-public sector collaboration, but also putting it out there. Like, let's put it to the whole world and let's, tell people where we are, what are our challenges. And from my experience as well, we used to, back in the days in my past life, talk about the creating shared value model, or the private sector was even seen as the bad guy in this whole thing. And it was like this versus that. And today it's an and. And within your role now in our region, I feel governments are exceptionally collaborative with the private sector. Tell me a bit more on how this is working, or what is the value of having this collaboration?
This is a very, very important point, because from a climate change perspective, we're not in a good position. We all know that. UAE is hosting COP28, and COP28 is, people talk about it because it's the stock take where countries will see where and have what did they do so far with their targets. And we don't need to wait for COP28 to know that we're overshooting the targets. So there is an issue. And it seems either we're not doing enough, or we missed something. And what we've missed, I believe, in my personal opinion, that we were not inclusive enough in our discussions. We isolated, we excluded organizations or people or sectors.
Yeah.
Private sector, since day one, can easily be one of the part of the solution, not the problem. If we look at Chalhoub or even privately owned companies in this part of the world, you have a regional mandate. So you can go beyond your geographical location in one country. From a climate change perspective, your target is whatever your operations are, right? So private sector can definitely accelerate the net zero targets, by the way, that been committed by governments. Governments went out there, said, I want to be by 2050 and 2060 and 2070. It's important to commit, but it's more important to know how you want to achieve such a commitment. So private sector is part of the solution. There is a regional and geographical aspect. The second part, the technological innovation and the research and development that private sector invests in, so especially now with the AI and digital era we're living in. You've seen most of the private sector investing just maybe simply because of a customer demand. We have, in this part of the world, we have a youth population. They are more technologically savvy. They have access to technology. And for sure, if you want to reach such huge group, either be it your own employees or your customers, you need to start investing in technological innovations. And by the way, technological innovation is an enabler of reaching your climate targets. So definitely I see lots of pros now. Definitely you need a commitment from the private sector, and hence maybe the role of NGOs or the role of government. But it comes with ensuring that there is, we call it an MRV system, measuring, reporting, and validation. So you can include them, but to feel safe for these people, think maybe we should be careful when we do public-private partnerships. If you have a regional or a measurement and reporting and validation program that takes the uniqueness of the region into consideration, here you go. You have a transparent third-party balance to see are they doing it for the right reasons or not.
Yeah.
Now, I don't see any issue with companies doing well by doing good. So again, sustainability is about minimizing your negative environmental impact, if any, and maximizing your socioeconomic impact. We need to see more universities, more academia, more private sector engaging with these such academic institutions. We need to ensure that the private sector has, it's a two-way approach with the government to ensure the government on a whole, or the region and the planet, all of us as a whole, reaching our targets. We keep saying we don't have planet B. So we all live on this one planet. So there should not or must not be exclusion for any sector. I'm a strong believer on this.
You know, I was in the Women's Summit last week, and the Egyptian astronaut Sarah Sabri, she was on a panel. She was saying, when you go to space and you see Earth from outside, and you see how magical this moment is, she was saying that she wanted all leaders of the world to go to space, to see the planet, and feel that feeling that they want to go and just fight for it with everything they've got. And that was so beautiful. It resonated with me. And that, we're really in this world thinking of ourselves, but if you just step out and look at it, it's such a big motivation. And she was saying it with a lot of passion and not saying, I went to space, I'm cool, that was her key takeout. But I think you also covered one thing which is important, which is consumer demand. And we know in our industry and luxury, I think beyond just the carbon and the climate actions, it's the behaviors of the consumer. So Florence, for a business like ours, we don't own manufacturing of the brands and products. We're a retail partner. Tell us a bit more how we can do that and a bit more towards our customers. What are they asking for?
Well, we are following kind of what our customers want. When we have developed the pre-loved concept of level shoes, it's been based on research that now in the UAE, 60% of our customers in luxury are ready to buy pre-loved items. But then again, studies are showing that it's the age group 35 plus, which are really looking deep into what they want, looking at the traceability of products and actually walking the talk and buying these products. So from our part, we have to study the market and see the evolution of what our customers want and be ready to cater for this demand. But also the customers have got a responsibility, and on all age group, because we can see the younger age group, for example, they're very educated, they may be very vocal about sustainability, but when it comes to actually purchasing, they might not be the one who are, walking the talk and purchasing sustainable products. So what would help, and when you were talking about, it's private sector, it's public sector, I would also add it's the civil society, and the civil society, including the customers, have got the role. And what I would say is to encourage our customers to be even more vocal, to be even more demanding and tell us, okay, what are you doing with these brands? Like how these brands is produced? How can it be? Is it traceable or not? How do you dispose of of the stock and things like that? And to really engage a dialogue, and for us also to be challenged as a retailer, but also as a brand, we need this type of challenge to evolve the situation as well. So coming back to what you were saying on sustainability. Sustainability is having a holistic approach. So it's about, as you were saying, knowing that economic, environmental, and social factors have to be addressed together. It's about knowing that it's only be achievable, the 17 SDGs agenda, if you have collaboration of private sector, public sector, and civil society, and to have a long-term perspective in whatever you do. So it's the same for consumers. Like, they have really, their role is to be educated, to participate to forums, to be a voice, and to challenge us and to challenge the brands, and in whatever domain they are, but to voice out their concern and be more demanding. And only then, every challenge is an opportunity. So it's an opportunity also for us to collaborate more with the brands, to advance the progress.
If I may, but it's a really good question, and building on Florence's answer, if we think, if the people who are listening to us now, why they may ask, this is good, perfect, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
So we're not doing it only to be captain.
Sorry to interrupt you, not just why are you doing it? Oh, that's not relevant for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I hear this one more time, I will cry.
Exactly. No. But we are trying to be Captain Planet, because come on, each one of you listening to me now would rather go home and say to their kids or their family or their friends, I've been Captain Planet today. But there is a commercial part of it. Companies now, the sustainability part of business, first of all, if you talk about climate change, which means you talk about net zero, it means energy efficiency, it means reducing my electricity bills, which means I'm reducing my financial utilities bill. So there is a financial part, cost savings, license to operate, compliance is important. Laws and regulations are changing. And come on, we all agree on this. You find the law today, maybe next year you should have this is a prerequisite. You need to be sustainable. What's your sustainable story to invest somewhere? So a license to operate. Long-term profitability. If you want to have access to capital now, you go to any bank, they look at your ESG, which is environment, social, and governance rating. So companies now, they are not being rated on financial papers only. They rate on, do they deal with their staff very nice way? Do they help the community? Is health and safety top on their agenda? Is environment on their agenda? So, and again, back to the corporate citizenship. But when you talked about customers, I remember that if we talk about in retail, I will think of retail, sustainable consumption and cleaner production, which is a very hard balance to do, by the way. So congratulations again for the SBTi and for the sustainability, because it's a really bold commitment from Chalhoub. So I remember when you talk about sustainable consumption, cleaner production, youth. We talk about 50% under the 30 years. So I did that interview. We did a survey, around 5,000 youth in Lebanon, Jordan, UAE, Saudi, Egypt. Just a smaller group. And I don't know if you know this term, hedonistic idealists. So all of them, they would like to end poverty. They want to be Captain Planets. But at the same time, they would like companies to give them the best sustainable consumption product. But yet, each one of them is biggest consumers. They have 3 phones. They have they go and buy things they don't need. So it's an awareness part. So who takes that responsibility? Is it civil society only? Yes. But also, private sector can ensure that this can be also a compliance risk. It's a reputational risk not to ensure that people are aware, because it may backfire later on. So and now I used to Google companies long time ago, and I used to buy to see if they have child labor or not. Now they don't need that. They need just on a social media to know any negative or positive thing. So the new economy now, which with the huge population coming into workforce, is what we call it circular or green economy. So this will provide jobs. Sustainability can provide jobs. We need practitioners in energy efficiency, ESG, sustainability, social, philanthropy, CSR, you name it. We don't have them. So this has a huge economic imperative from a business perspective. And this is actually, the companies are getting ready for the next century or the next 10 years or the next era. So this is something, yes, I would like to help. And we have one planet, but also there is a huge business opportunity on that.
Yeah, I'd like to be a bit maybe provocative on that. From our intelligence research, yes, their consumers say that they do care and they would, and then when it translates to true consumption, are you willing to pay more? Some of them may even say yes for a sustainable product, but then they don't end up paying more for a sustainable product. You see that brands or companies that are sustainable by design, like new models, new businesses, new brands, they're doing very well. But then where are we today when it comes to the companies that aren't sustainable by design and they have to invest a lot to change their ways? Today, are we telling them, okay, now you have to do it? Where do we stand? Because compliance is a big thing. And I know that the public-private sector collaboration started where, okay, let's be realistic in the targets so that we comply, but within a time frame that allows us to change and be compliant. Where are we today? Yeah.
I mean, maybe we can answer.
It's a very good question. I have an answer for you. It's a very, very good question.
We can take other hats, like you are the vice chair of the Global Compact Local Network. I'm the secretary. So I would say UNGC, United Nations Global Compact, is an amazing tool for any type of companies, whereas they are sustainable by design or not, whereas they are huge, medium, micro enterprises. And this branch of the UN is really helping companies to build a framework, a strategy, a sustainability strategy, which is adapted for their needs. So it's about looking at what you have, doing a materiality study, and see where you are starting from. And then from there, set ambitious SDG targets. And we have an accelerator program in UNGC around that. And helping you really define, okay, yes, setting goals which are reachable but still ambitious. So it doesn't matter if you've not started. It doesn't matter if you are sustainable by design. What we say is that the time to start is now, and you're never too big, too small, not in the right region to start. Wherever you are, you have to. You can start and you can have an impact. And I guess so. Doing some promotion of the Global Compact at the same time. But I think it's an amazing tool for people to know. This can really help people start. And also, what I like about this initiative is that it comes with an obligation to report, and this obligation makes the company, whatever size they are, committed and accountable for what they do. Yeah. And this is huge, because as soon as you are accountable, you put in place immediately whatever structure you need to show results. So that would be my question. It doesn't matter if you're sustainable by design or not. You can start wherever you are. Whatever you do, and you have some initiatives which can help.
Well, I agree with you, and I couldn't even add more, but because this is a provocative question, and I recommend to have another session to dive deep into this, to get maybe two sides, because let's
record this.
Let's think of two things. You talked about actually, you were so realistic. You know the market. Yes. You have companies are committed. We are in a company that committed to sustainability, like again, family-owned company. You don't have the pressure of shareholders. You don't. If you think about why should I do it, right? So you're being a responsible company. We said why the reasons. Now you talked about it's more expensive or not. Yes, it's not only on consumers. Unfortunately, now we are aware that sustainable products are premium. You have to meet premium price in from an energy to retail, you name it, for different reasons. One, maybe the technological innovation to get that sustainable product with the same price of a non-sustainable is a bit high. The second one, there is no high demand. So it's a big investment. So you need to make that your gap in the profit. The third part is mainly it's a buzzword. Maybe it's a fashion. And I hope it's here to stay. It's not a fashion. I hope it's a lifestyle. I really hope that, and I do believe in that. It's marketing, it's sustainable. You should pay more. The answer for this is you do not need to pay more. Do your research. Unless there is a reason that you're convinced with, yes. But again, let me talk about the circular economy of sustainability waste. People think I need to buy recyclable mug or paper, and you pay premium for it. You know what's my answer to whoever said, when you think circular economy, think of your grandparents, of your parents. They were living circular economy 100%.
Yeah.
And they did it because of necessity. So technically, they were saving money. So it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Just think of your kitchen household. Think of the corner grocery store next door to see even the seeds where they used to make it from, whatever they used, nothing was thrown. So if you think about it, necessity should be economically viable, period. But there are reasons for some products because there is investments in technology and the technology cannot yet scaled up because of the demand. But it is an issue. You're absolutely right. For the companies that they think they don't want to listen to Florence and look at the 10 principles of UNGC and the free data, free accelerator programs, I don't think they will be in business, period. I think they're either dinosaurs or they will be running out of business because from what's going right, you want to have access to capital, you should have sustainability credentials. We talk about youth population. People would like to have this product. People actually would work with companies with a purpose. People started to quit their jobs because the company they work for does not have a purpose. So you look at it, you don't need to be a tree hugger or Captain Planet. You just need to be a smart business person when you run a company to think of it as sustainability is a must-have, not nice to have.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I bounce back again? Because your question.
I love that. I just gave you a question but
just to add, because you were mentioning the price of a sustainable product, which is totally right. But I think it was in PwC Global Insight Market Report 2022. They were saying there were three main reasons for people not to buy a sustainable product. First one, as you rightly said, is the price, and it was 30%. Other 30% is
more.
It was 30% of people who wouldn't buy a product because then 30% of the other reason why they wouldn't buy a sustainable product was because the quality, the lack of consistency in the quality, and the other 30% was the lack of choice. So here again, we have to hold responsible and accountable the brands and retailers, for example, like us, and you know very well, we've put on the market when it comes to choice, for example, different business model, offering our team, our customers, the choice of buying a sustainable product. So if it's the pre-loved concept with level shoes, the rental business with Tanagra, the vintage business, with Christophe. So it's going to be a major point of focus for Chalhoub Group in the coming 10 years. So offering more choice, developing more business models which are relevant for the customers, because again, it starts with the customers. So that's one of our accountabilities. Second accountability, which would come more, I guess, from the brand, is how can I make my product consistent in quality? So that people would be more attracted to buy the product.
And that's advantageous and luxury, right? Because less is more.
But how you can if I may ask the three of us, because you said it's a
brainstorming.
But it's a very good. It's a challenge. If you ask, it's not only it's a big challenge. How we can accelerate filling the gap? Is it the regulation? We've seen the regulation single-use plastic in the UAE. It was magic. Out of a sudden, all retailers
plug and play
and whoever customers said, "I want you pay, you get it." Everyone started to get the reusable bag. How we can accelerate this gap? By one, ensuring that it's economically viable and there is a demand and the quality is good. maybe the next podcast we should have maybe a government official.
I will certainly work on that. I think that one thing that I have in mind, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
but
it's a big challenge.
I mean, when it comes to our industry, for example, Christophe have brought back their vintage collections. They're actually collecting back pieces, reselling them to customers because they want to elongate the lifespan of any product. And when you're in luxury or good quality to begin with, then that lifespan can be very long and reused. Like now, Karl Lagerfeld's mood as well is being auctioned.
Then maybe if I may, it's not only regulations. I don't know about the story, so maybe we need to share success stories.
Group,
no, I do, but I mean, for whoever is listening to us, that's, by the way, it's a sustainability 101. Genius. Yeah. You know, you got the items, but maybe we need to have a platform to share success stories.
We have another nice story also that we recently launched Soulmates, which is a digital sneaker brand. And it starts in the metaverse. So you buy the NFT, you buy the sneaker, and then you order your physical sneakers. And it's only created for you, that one piece. So there's no overstock, there's no... So
is it affordable? Is it affordable, if I may ask?
It's luxury.
Okay.
It's luxury.
So that's a good answer. That's a very transparent answer, by the way.
It's actually exclusive. The NFTs are being really sold super fast, and this is the new generation. Well, hopefully with technology, as you said, and with respecting the good thing that comes from metaverse, from technology, and mixing it with our traditional business models, I think definitely we can innovate.
Well, this is smart. I think we don't talk enough about good stories.
So let's talk about how we can talk enough in COP28. So what should we expect? Because I know time is running out and we would love to continue in another podcast. So I'm going to take your word for that. But if we want to talk about these more, what should people expect from COP28 and who? And what should they, wait for?
Briefly, first of all, we're in the UAE, in Dubai, and the whole United Arab Emirates has, although we're a young nation, but we have a track record of getting things done. So I've been to many COPs. I've never been optimistic, maybe, to get to at least to have an inclusive COP as we have it in the UAE. And we proved that we can do the job with Expo. The whole will be here. So the expectations will be the most inclusive COP. And when I say inclusive, I really mean that if you're in the UAE or in the region, make sure to be there during COP, because we don't have such an opportunity in our region to host two COPs. We were in Egypt and we are here. So it's so important for students, university, they want to learn more about climate change to be here. So that's the first thing. The second part, I look at it as a solutions COP. So you will find initiatives and projects on the ground, which I predict that will help us to accelerate sustainable growth for the region and the global south in general, but also bridging the discussion on climate between global north and global south, which is we need something like this. And I think UAE can master such a role in creating a platform for people to come together for this. So again, having a COP in the UAE, you'll see the whole world. That's why I promise you, I believe you will see really, if you're in the climate or sustain or even business, the whole world will be here. So make sure to attend. There is an innovation zone. You'll find lots of solutions. It will be inclusive. Everyone will be around the table talking about how we can work together to solve the climate crisis.
Well, that sounds very exciting. Florence, SBTi targets approved is only the beginning. What's next, and what do you have, in plan for us, whether for COP or this year?
For us, starting with SBTi, you're right. It's really the beginning. So now we are mapping out our suppliers for Scope 3, and we are working on creating a supplier engagement program because we need now to open a dialogue and align with the sustainability strategy of our brands and see how together we can limit our carbon emissions. So that will be totally one point of focus. When it comes to COP, funny enough, I would like to say the same thing. For me, COP28 is just the beginning, and we've not talked about the legacy projects you're working on, but I think that's a very important thing to work on. I mean, to understand. Yes, there's COP this year in the UAE. But for me, it's just a way to trigger a long-lasting work. If we take the case of the Chalhoub Group, for us, it's an opportunity to be heard by the government, for them to know, and I think they have been extremely attentive to the needs, the challenges, and created opportunity. It's the opportunity to have an approach, a sectorial approach as well, so together to come with the other retailers of the region, the other mall developers of the region, and work together on solutions. And really, access to technology is great. And honestly, we've been trying since we built the strategy to accelerate through investment in technologies and innovation, which has been a bit challenging in the region for many reasons, not only access but also regulations. But I think now the movement is accelerating, and that's what we are hoping, as you rightly say, from COP. So you're right. I mean, for me, it's a turning point. But again, it's not the end. It's just the beginning at many levels.
I love that. Thank you. And I think what we were discussing before we started the podcast is maybe to end with a message of how people can really help. From what I took from you, if you're a brand owner, go and check the accelerator, go see how you can start your strategy, make it non-negotiable. Otherwise, you're going to be obsolete. If you're a student, learn and start and attend the COP. If you're just a person, any person, you can just do small things in your day-to-day life by your choices, be minimalistic. What else did I forget? Anything else you'd like people to?
You're spot on. From my side.
Again, from an individual perspective, I like this idea of challenging. I think also we underestimate maybe the power of individuals in this COP, because we speak about government, we speak about private sector, public sector. But citizens, for me, have got a role to play. And I like the fact of, so two things for me, education. So they have to learn about what does it mean, what it is, what is at stake. If we don't reach this 2030 agenda, and be a voice, like an advocate, and challenge the brands, challenge your environment, because only then, challenge is not negative for me. Challenge is positive.
I agree with you. In education, we assume people know.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily know, including public sector. So you talked about legacy projects. Yeah. Well done. Yeah. Here you go. You wanted to have. So we are thinking collectively, as part of the CSO network, that COP28 is just the beginning. So we're looking at long-term educational and programs that will stay beyond COP28. So yes, we may launch it in COP28, but it will go beyond COP28. Yeah. We want to ensure that our lifestyle, that we end up with sustainable lifestyles for us and for generations to come.
And you know what we've been saying in communication, and also, I mean, as a nutritionist, what I always said is knowledge or common sense is not common practice. Exactly. So knowledge does not mean behavior change. Yes. There's so much more to behavior change. Yes. But at least if you're a parent, you're being challenged by your kids, for sure, because I see it every day. So hopefully the next generation also will be much stronger than any of us. Thank you very much. I can't believe time passed. Thank you all for tuning in. Please tell us your feedback. We will have another podcast to talk about more towards COP28. Stay tuned, and thank you. Bye-bye.